Hey everyone, welcome back to the Smash Property Podcast. Today's episode, Akira and I are going to have a chat about how we make decisions and how we built our property portfolio and ultimately went from 0 to 10 properties in less than 5 years. We're going to talk about the steps, the journeys, so that you out there, whether you're doing it yourself or maybe you are doing it with your partner, can also get on the right path as well. Joining me in the studio once again, Akira, welcome back to the potty. How you doing?
I'm good. I feel like a roller coaster of a week.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a month, to be honest.
Yeah, we've been moving a lot, to be fair. Obviously, a lot of travel. And of course, I had some health stuff this week just with like the food that I've been eating. So it's been a bit of an up and down journey, but in line with the business, I feel as though all the new markets that we've opened up for our clients.
Love that.
That's been my high.
On fire.
Yeah.
On
So
fire.
good. Like most things, it's up and down, but I think just this time of year it tends to get like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
feel
was
like,
reading my journal from last year, and I'm like, it's always crazy this time of year.
Yeah, I think it's because we go so hard, like from January to now, and I think this is when you start to feel a little bit burnt out, and you're like. But to be fair, we have taken a big chunk of life and chewed it in the last freaking like 12 in the last, I don't know, 2 months. We've done a lot. Like we've been up and down Sydney, Queensland. I don't know, about four times at least.
Yeah.
In like 4 weeks.
It was funny. We were having a bit of a joke. One of our clients signed up 2 months ago, and they're still going through pre-approval with their broker. And I'm like,
it's not our broker, just so you know.
But yeah, it's funny. I'm like, why is it taking this long? I've been up and down to Sydney, back to WA. No, not WA. Sorry, let me go.
Well,
I feel like
we might as well have gone to fucking WA.
In that time, yeah.
I could have driven
States.
to WA and back, and this person would still not have the finance done.
No,
just goes to show. No, I'm leaving it in. Just goes to show you've got to have the right team. Not all brokers are the same. Not all accountants are the same. And it can really slow down your journey. Because I was actually thinking the opportunity cost for that client of ours is massive.
Yeah.
Like huge.
I know.
You would have just been better off just getting into a market fucking 2 months ago, and you would have. Anyway. What are we talking about again? Our journey.
We are talking about decision making as a couple, I think.
Decision making as a couple, and we're going to sort of frame it like how we built our portfolio, really.
Yeah. This is an interesting conversation because, of course, no two couples are the same, but there is, I guess, some principles that we've applied and been conscious of in making decisions.
Yeah, and I think it really became apparent to us, like the way that we make decisions versus some of the people that we work with. It is chalk and cheese, and there's a reason that some people don't get to at least one property, let alone to get to 10 in a short time period, because it does take a certain mindset, which we will talk about as we go through the potty. As always, if you get some value out of the video, sorry, I'm like blinking like I got dog hair in my eye. I swear to God, it's just always happens.
You got long eyelashes.
I do have long eyelashes. I gotta. I always pull them out.
Such bullshit. We wouldn't have to pay for that, and just naturally.
If you get some value out of the episode, appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Akira, myself, as well as Dan, our buyer's agent, do deliver regular content on YouTube and also social media as well. So if
I gotta get my game up.
You got to step it up. I feel like I'm just holding it for the team at the moment, but you guys are getting some good deals, so we'll give you a break with that. If you get some value, show us some love and let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. For those of you that don't know who the hell we are, we've just been rambling for the last couple of minutes. I'm Nick V, the director of the Smash Property Investing Buyers Agency. Akira is my life and business partner, currently the head of acquisitions for Smash Property Investing, taking care of essentially the buyer's agent, sourcing, the due diligence, getting the deals done, speaking with the clients, all that sort of thing. You're doing an amazing job at that.
Thank you.
So let's get into the episode. And Akira and I, we were property investors before we met, or at least we were interested in property.
No, before we met.
Yeah, before we met. I think I had maybe one or two, and you had the one. So we were kind of already on that train. We've managed to build a portfolio to go from 0 to 10 properties in less than 5 years. Some of them you own, some of them I own, some of them we own collectively. So I want to talk through that and how we really got to that journey. Sorry, again, I feel like my eyes are just going a bit funny. I want to talk about how we got there, because obviously getting to a couple of properties is amazing, but getting to 10, it's a very rare, like it's not very common. Sorry, my eyes are just going nuts right now.
No, I think maybe I'll hold down the fort. But yeah, I think with growing a portfolio, regardless of the number of properties, in terms of what the actual value and what the portfolio does for you, I feel as though with navigating decisions and how we've built up, we have been very, I guess, successful, if I can use that word, in regards to understanding what we need as our lifestyle grows and our, maintaining our finances as well. I think we've been very realistic and very honest, the main thing, with each other in terms of what we actually want, not just as a portfolio, but in our life in general and what our lifestyle wants to be.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think let's talk about some of the decision-making principles, if you can maybe frame it in that way. And I think one of the key things that we have always done at every step of the journey, whether it was that we just had the 3 or 4 properties, or whether that we have the 10 properties, and even now to this very day, constantly reassessing our position and constantly looking at things going, okay, there's multiple paths of the way forward. Which one is going to suit us now? And to be real, it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Like through the years, of what we actually wanted to do. There was a time when commercial wasn't even on our radar, but it really is at the moment. There was a time when property developing was on their radar, and it's not really at the moment. So it's a constant evolution of what is the best way forward. Like there's a chessboard. We've got our chess pieces. Like how do we move forward? And I think you and I have done an amazing job at that. And I want to talk about how we have those discussions and how we make those decisions. And it's really, there's a whiteboard that's sitting behind this camera here. It was funny when we moved, that whiteboard has honestly made us a ton of money. It was because I put like my career stuff on there. We map out our portfolio,
Holidays.
Our goals, our plans, what we're going to do, what's next. And I think maybe you and I are quite visual in that sense to a degree, but I honestly think
definitely am.
Definitely you are. I'm the one where I have a shitload going on in my head, and I just need to download it onto something so I can free up the hard drive space.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the mechanism that you and I sort of go to very often, to just kind of put stuff on the board, figure it out, map it out, and kind of work our way forward.
Yeah. There's components to it, right? I think the first thing personally from what I've experienced with how we make decisions is the fact that we are very honest with each other. And I think as a couple, when you are making a decision to buy property, it's always rooted in making money, of course. So maybe it's something like short term, maybe it's a legacy for your family, maybe it's that you don't want to work full time for the rest of your life. So what I'm trying to say is, with that aspect of honesty, if that alignment isn't there at the start of this conversation, it makes it very difficult to move forward, because if you're on 2 different pages of what you actually want and why you're doing it, you guys are going to butt heads in terms of strategy, in terms of property type, in terms of, growth. Is it cash flow? How much risk are you willing to take on? I think being very straightforward and sitting down and talking to what is the bigger picture of what you're looking to achieve is probably one of the biggest parts of the equation.
Yeah. So we've sort of got, mapping it out, having that discussion, whether it's, we sit down and have a coffee, or maybe the cocktails at one point when we were drinking. I don't drink anymore, but
going for a walk. I feel like we've done
having a walk and then putting it onto something. And not everybody's going to do the whiteboard thing. That's just what worked for us. Maybe it's just as simple as sitting down and having dinner and just talking through what you're thinking and what the plans are. But doing that on the regular is really important. Yeah. To your point, being honest, not only with your partner, but with yourself. Like,
That's a big
you know,
thing.
because it's property, it's not a quick fix, right? And there was a point in time when I was feeling trapped in my 9 to 5 job because I had all this debt, I had all these properties, and I needed to keep my job to pay it because this was when, you know, interest rates were starting to rise. And I remember that panic was like, fuck, is this really going to work out? Like, have we over leveraged here? Um, so like, you're going to have to be honest with yourself. And I had to be honest with myself, was like, am I willing to buy these properties and then keep that job to be locked in? Because I don't know if you remember, like you probably do. I was not in the greatest of like mental states while I was highly stressed for a long time.
Yeah.
And I guess if you and I weren't honest with ourselves about that, you know, that would have been a very difficult like period of time to kind of navigate through, right? So it's really important to have that honesty in the conversation. And what would you say? What are our other, I guess, maybe principles of like decision making? Why are you laughing? Leave me alone, man. I'm trying to run a podcast here. What you fucking host it then?
Nah.
Answer the question. What's the other principles? Come on, have some input here.
Let me deliver some value. Okay, no, I think with us, the other thing that I really value in making decisions is the fact that we are able to float ideas no matter how crazy they might seem at times. Like, we obviously, you know, I'd like to think I'm quite a positive person, and so are you, in the way that you see life and navigate through hard situations as well. I think we both see glasses half full. We've been handed shit cards very many times, not only in the business, in our portfolio, in our life in general at different times. But I think the fact that, you know, we both as individuals stay positive regardless of the situation and just try and find the learning has been one of the blessings that I've found with navigating decisions with you. I think also what I'm trying to say is essentially the fact that no idea is stupid in having these conversations and navigating how we move forward, whether we do or don't.
There's been some radical ideas, even the one I threw to you today. I was
amongst
like,
them, which oh.
The next step.
Oh
for
yeah,
us.
I remember that.
It's like that's a pretty big idea, but and we'll share information on that once we get a little bit more advanced in it. But so I think it's a great point. Like you've got to, I guess, it's a lame. You got to feel safe to kind of speak how you want, and like
I think we G each other up though too.
Yeah. I think we're in the good I guess positive sort of outlook on getting each other going with that. I was also going to say, like, because it's not just about making the decision to go and invest, because that's a hard part, but it's also like when you actually have a property, like take the WA property, right? Recently, that bathroom issue, like that's a big problem, right? But I think the way that you and I sort of navigated that, and just for the guys
context,
at home, like we have a property in WA, great property, burst pipe, issues with the bathroom,
had to gut it out.
Had to gut the bathroom out, and through that time, the tenant vacated. We're not getting any rent. That's a catastrophic situation to deal with.
Yeah.
But what did you and I do? Cool. We actually did the property manager's job, or you did, right? Like, let's get some quotes, get them out there, get it fixed, right? Get the insurance on the ball as well. You know,
just get it sorted,
right? Don't sit there and be like, fuck, why me? This is so bad, blah, blah, blah. No, get it done as quickly as you can and just be efficient with the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And make sure that you're looking at it from a logical point of view to go, okay, take my emotions out of it. Yes, this stings. Yes, it's difficult. It sucks. But what do we do to get the thing resolved as quickly and as efficiently as possible?
Yeah. And also just how we manage that. Now, my strong suit, I would say, in our relationship is having a construction background, I think, number one, but also just managing people as well to a degree in terms of, you know, the property managers, builders and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm not going to put this headache on you. I will let you know what's going on, but I'll just resolve it and keep you updated on how we're progressing so that we can make a joint decision, but then your headspace is not being cluttered. I can just deal with it and make movement and tracks where I need to.
Yep.
And then that way, you know, not both of us are unnecessarily stressed with something that one person can handle.
Yeah, that's right, because you've got to understand. And we see a lot of new investors. They, you know, might buy a property and then something might happen. The dishwasher might break or the aircon might break, and it's that, you know, we've seen some investors that melt down when a fucking aircon breaks. It's like, get a grip. Like, that happens. You bought a property. That's what's going to happen. You've just got to fix it.
Yeah.
Get on with it. Right. And you've just got to have that mindset and not have that victim mindset. Like, oh, I bought a shit property, this, that. No, you haven't. You bought a property. It's grown in value. You've got to pay, you know, $2,000 to get an aircon done. Big deal. It's a tax deduction. Move on.
Yeah, this is the thing with property. Like, this is the hard part because, again, people forget it is a house that people live in. Like, things are going to come up. It's just part and parcel of investing. And the word, again, says everything. You were doing something today, making a sacrifice for 5 years, 10 years down the line.
Yep.
You can't expect it to make you a profit within like a day of buying the property. Like, it takes time and it takes effort and intention for you to understand that, you know, it's a hard decision. It's not easy, but sometimes just sorting it out and resolving it is quicker than, you know, I guess marinating on it, sitting on it, waiting, thinking.
Yeah.
Just sort it.
It is. And I was just thinking then, like, you know, are you and I maybe like ruthless in our decision-making process? And I was like, I wouldn't say that we're ruthless, because we do have a heart. We do understand, like, with all of our tenants, we've, you know, when there's ever been an issue, we've always wanted to fix it and get it done as quickly as possible. But we don't dwell on it. We don't sit, if we get an email from the property manager saying, hey, this is a maintenance item that's come up, as soon as that I get that email, almost the same day, I'm going back. Yep, get some quotes. Get it, you know, get a couple of quotes. We don't sit on it for a week. Therefore, the tenant's sitting there, and, you know, without an aircon or without a dishwasher, or, you know, I had the Sydney property. Yeah, the alarm battery is flat and needs replacing. Yeah, and then they wanted locks on the some of the bathroom doors. Cool, get some quotes. Let's see what's going on here. We don't sit on things. I think we're pretty decisive is probably a better way to say it, right?
Yeah. And this is actually, I might share this. It's very hard for me in the sense of, in my life, I've always been taught as a kid, and how I've grown up is always go and shop smart. Now, what I mean by that, make a decision where you're not overpaying if you don't need to. So, like, for an example, if something is on special, say, I don't know, let's meat, like lamb or something at the shops. In my experience, when I've grown up, it's always like, okay, look at Coles, Woolworths, Aldi, just make sure that you're getting the best price for it, which is a good way to think. But also, as you get busier and busier in life, the cost of doing it versus what you're paying an extra 50 cents, dollar for something that you could have just got while you're at the shop just there, as opposed to running another 10 minutes down the road to another shops.
Yeah.
Money is important, but also your time and energy is important as well. So it's been a shift for me in terms of making sure that I'm being proactive, but also not being ripped off as well. Yeah. So it's a balance that you need to take into consideration of where your time and energy goes as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great summary. You know, as you do get busier and as you get more properties, your time is going to be more valuable. So sometimes just paying someone to do a job for you so that you can direct your time elsewhere.
It's been hard for me.
is going to be important. Yeah. No, it is difficult, especially because on the come up with our property portfolios, it's like you're scrimping, you're saving, you've got to be cutting corners to get to that stage. But if we're still doing that now, we would be sacrificing our time in more valuable, the business, for example, or wherever else it might be.
Yeah. And it's as a business owner, I think as well, with navigating decisions together, that was something for me. I'm going to be quite frank with you. I kind of got frustrated with you at points whereby I would say, like, you made decisions very quickly. And I'm like, no, wait, you're rushing this decision. We can get a better price, da, 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 da. But then I started to realize and understand your way of thinking that it's wasting time if you sit on things that don't actually make you money. So it's been a shift for me whereby I needed to understand and take my time and my experience in, all right, even just like maybe for moving houses, for an example, when I was moving out of my Rouse Hill property to Wentworth, you know, buying all this IKEA furniture and then moving and then it's shit and I can't use it again. Like sometimes buying more valuable things that are good quality works out better in the long run.
Yeah.
There's a saying about it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, look, so whether you're in property, whether you're in business, or really a lot of things in life, the speed to execution is often more important and more critical than bargain hunting, shopping around, sitting on a decision and waiting. It's getting the job done is what's going to, and it might be a little bit ugly, but you've done it. You're in the market, right? You've got the property. It's growing in value. You're not sitting there, 6 months later, 12 months later, trying to then make the decision to get into it.
Yeah.
You're actually doing it. And yeah, I think we might share, there's been a few couples that we work with. Often they're amazing because they often come into it and they have a very similar mindset, which is why we've connected with a few of them.
Yeah, we've had some beautiful couples we've worked with.
And we've sort of seen us as a reflection a lot in them, in the sense of how we make decisions in our relationship and that sort of thing. But we also do get from time to time, very rarely, couples that aren't aligned in many different ways, aren't aligned in the ultimate goal and the outcome, aren't aligned in the strategy on how to get there. They often haven't had a conversation about, what the journey is really going to look like. And as you and I know full well, the property investing journey, it is never going to be smooth sailing. There's always going to be like some hiccups along the way, regardless of where you are on the journey and regardless of whether you have, brokers and buyers agents on your team. Stuff is going to go wrong, right? There's just no way to avoid it. And if you're not aligned, that just fractures things so much worse than what it needs to be. And there was one investor, I think it was about a year ago, maybe 18 months ago. He was really keen on getting into the market, really keen on building a property portfolio. But the wife was like, she had her family in her ear.
The grandmother.
Yeah, and they were getting involved with what the type of property needed to be and what it looked like. And he's like, I just want to fucking go and do this. Like, he could see the benefit of it. But in the end, they never ended up buying a property because they just got stuck with like the disagreement side of it.
Yeah, and that can be such a challenge when, there's a decision and there's no alignment in terms of risk appetite, criteria, what you're actually looking for. Because to your point, it's one thing to make a decision that you want to get into property investing as a couple, but then going into the strategy, the holding costs that you're both willing to kind of, be comfortable with on a weekly, monthly basis, the style of asset, the location. There are so many different components for a property for it to work for two people. And again, the importance of being flexible, because there's never going to be a property that's perfect. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
So being able to make a rationalized decision to be able to get the best outcome, I think is so important.
Yeah. So I said at the start, we'll explain how we got from 0 to 10 properties. And I might summarize it, and then if I miss anything, you can kind of fill in the gaps and color it in a little bit. So you and I started our journey, like we said at the start. I think you had one property at least. I had a couple before we met. We obviously met. We're really aligned on, hey, our goals were quite similar and that sort of thing, which was great. We were able to sort of put our heads together, which I think was kind of like a superpower of ours, because we sort of had, instead of having one brain, we had two kind of working towards, different strategies and solutions and all that sort of thing. So I think for the next couple of properties, I think we did a few more solo. You did a couple solo. I did a couple solo. And then we started to get to the point where it was like, okay, borrowing.
Maxed out on borrowing for me.
Not maxed out, but we were very, very clear. Yeah, for you it was, but we were very close to that. So then we go, okay, cool. Let's get a discretionary trust together. And we use that strategy that we often talk about with our clients of having a property that fully washes its own face inside the discretionary trust so that we can continue buying more after that. But sorry, just let me finish. We also did the self-managed super fund, pooled our funds together, and then bought another property inside a self-managed super fund, which was one of the reasons we were able to continue buying when our personal borrowing was maxed out. our self-managed super fund, we had some excess borrowing there, which allowed us to get to the property number 10.
Yeah, it's so funny. You just mentioned something. I was like, it was so funny buying the property in the trust because I don't know if you remember that time. We were obviously starting to get more weathered with the process, working with brokers, and then we got into private lending, I think, with
Oh, the
Westpac.
private bank, yeah.
And it's so funny, all those like shiny things that make you think, oh, yeah, you're really kind of getting up in the world.
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
yeah,
And
they
it's
kind
all
of G
just
you up to think that you've made it and whatever. You and I never fell for it. We're just like, just fucking give us the loan, bro. I don't care about all these like fancy. We were in there like the Westpac office and shit, like
in
Barangaroo, and they like have like all this food and shit. And
it was a nice experience.
It was nice, but I think you and I
point-
was just like, just fucking give us the loan already. Like, who cares?
Yeah, but it is interesting because, you know, that decision in itself, of course, setting up a trust, the costs involved, working with the accountant, and then most importantly, and the hardest one being your self-managed super fund, you know, that is a big decision.
That was a lot. Like, because, and like
understanding how it was set up as well. Because I'm like,
I had no idea. I mean, I had a rough idea, but I'm like, obviously there's a lot of paperwork you got to go through.
Yeah.
It is expensive.
And I think, frankly speaking, like, I'm just going to be straightforward with this. You had quite a lot more than myself in your super fund because I think obviously I'm younger. And then, of course, your job is, of course, a bit better than mine. But my point being is, how do you manage that, of course, in terms of dividing and making sure that once you get to retirement age, what does that look like? So we've had to have very freaking real conversations.
Yeah, I remember in the beginning, I was like, "You ain't touching my super. Get the fuck out of here!" Like that's what you know what I mean? Like, but then you understand how the contributions work, and then how the split sort of works. You know, after that. But yeah, that was a thing.
Actually, no. To that point, that is a very important conversation to have. You know, you are a couple. Things can go wrong as a couple. And frankly speaking, we've had to have conversations in, hey, what if our relationship doesn't work out? How is this going to be managed?
Yep.
So I think maybe just not sugarcoating that as well as a couple and being straightforward, because we've had to discuss that and you say, you know, how are we going to do this? What's going to be the outcome? Like, those are hard conversations to have, I'd say.
100%. Like, what if one of passes away? Like that's all. That's all stuff. Like it's hard. You've got to have that conversation. Like, what happens to family? Like, this is the difficulty you need to face. It's reality.
And to be fair, having those conversations and making sure you're aligned has made everything else easier.
Yeah, 100%.
So dealing with the hard shit and not, you know, sweeping it under the rug, I think has also benefited us quite a lot.
Big time. Yeah, absolutely.
Things.
It's massive to have the tough conversations up front, because to your point, everything else would just be so much smoother after that. So in order to build our portfolio, like, it was a case of increasing our income as much as possible, leveraging tools like discretionary trust and self-managed super funds to get there, speaking to different accountants and brokers through the journey, because it's never just been the one accountant or the one broker. We have evolved and gotten with people that, you know, we're aligned with, our values are the same, we're on the same sort of path, that sort of thing. And that will be the same for your journey as well. I always say it, don't just go with the broker that's the family broker or the family accountant. The chances are they don't have the portfolio and don't have the experience in property that you kind of want to leverage, right? You want to work with people that have got the results that you want. And it is so important because, to our point at the beginning of the episode, we've got a client at the moment who's amazing. I really want to help her, but
so lovely.
She's stuck because her team, broker and accountant, which aren't ours, by the way, are just holding her back, right?
Yeah.
They're just the anchors in the process, which shouldn't be that way.
Yes.
The 100% dead weights, deadbeats. I can say it. They won't even know who we are, or will they? No, maybe. What if they watch it?
No.
Who knows? Maybe they get their ass into gear. Valuable?
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure.
I think maybe the most important thing, my takeaway actually thinking about this, is just have hard conversations with your partner that you probably don't want to talk about, but you have to.
But my thing would be just go and do it. Like, just get a property done, right?
Yeah.
You know, unless you absolutely fuck it up and you buy in, you know, Broken Hill, in this shitty region, like small towns with like 1,000 people in it, that's the only way you can really go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Get into a metro market if you can. If you can't, get into a strong regional center and you will do well, right, in the long term. The other bit of advice, which is on my mind a lot at the moment, is don't try to get your first property and have all of these strategy boxes ticked, right? This is, I guess, my pet peeve at the moment, right? I want high growth. I want high yield. I want dual occupancy. I want big land. I want big house. And I want it, for $500,000. Yeah, and I want it brand new. Like, guys, that's not how property works. It's not how you make money in property. You've got to build the foundation first. Foundation is high growth properties. The high growth allows you to get to the next level and to get the high yielding properties to balance out the portfolio and balance out the cash flow. Why are you smiling at me?
I can just see. I know how frustrating this is.
It's so annoying because I'm just like, just listen to what we're saying here. We've built a portfolio that's very sustainable.
I think that's the key, sustainable as well, that word, because on social media, I know we're rambling on another tangent here, but you see so many different things and so many buzzwords, and you just want to include everything on your strategy and your property. It's dual occupancy or freaking multi-living or co-living. Like,
stick with the path that's worked. If you want help on your journey, navigating a path that Akira and I have walked, and you want help building a plan for yourself that involves looking at how we buy the property, what type of properties that we actually buy to get to the next level, and also getting access to our personal accountant and our personal broker. If you're on YouTube, there is a link in the description where you can book a free call. This will come through to the team and we'll understand you as the investor and your situation. And if we can help you, we'll tell you how we can help you. But if we can't help you, we'll also say, hey, we can't help you, and this is the reason why. So I hope you got some value out of that episode. That was a bit of a ramble rant from Akira and I. But no, that was fun.
I actually kind of like just chatting and just talking through things.
Yeah, I think it is a bit better sometimes than being structured. So that's all we have time for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nick V. This is Akira, and we are Smash Property Investing. We will see you next time.
Thank you.